Viewers, welcome to SATV Talk Show Promising Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. Today our guest is Mr. Abdul Matlub, and he is the chairman of one of the leading business and commercial industrial house in Bangladesh, Nitol Niloy Group. Mr. Matlub, how are you?
Well, mashallah, physically I am okay. Mentally a bit tensed because of the economic situation resulting in so many challenges that the country is facing. But Alhamdulillah, we are still okay.
It is known to all that you are one of the business icon in Bangladesh, and your presence here very much enjoying, in fact. What is your understanding about the recent budget which has been announced in Parliament recently, and it is going on, discussions are going on, as an icon in the field of business, trade and commerce? What is your understanding?
Well, first of all, we must have to realize that the country has been facing challenges for the last 3 years. Huge challenges like the COVID, like the post-COVID war, and now the dollar crisis. And amid all these crises, there is another challenging year. This year is the election year, and then comes this budget. How to coordinate between all these challenges and give support to the people of Bangladesh to make them smile is a very difficult task. But as you know, our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is a veteran politician and a good thinker. She is economically, her view of the economy vis-a-vis the world is excellent. We have seen in the past few budgets, she has been very articulate in trying to see that the business and the economics of the country keeps on moving. So during the COVID time, we found the budget was a giving budget, not taking budget. She already gave the business community huge amount of money to survive the COVID thing in a called Pronodana. So that was given to all of us. And you could see that the country fared better than many other countries because of the economic policies and the proper policies to support the business community. And I would say even during the COVID, the general public who were poor were also given some money to tide over the difficulties through the electronic system or telephonic system. So I would say that the current budget will focus, and as we can see in the budget, that the main players in the economy is the industries and the agriculture. These two are the main players for the country, and in both areas the government has targeted pure development in agriculture and industrial growth.
Do you find any lack of visionary foresight? Because you say the lack of dollar. You have invested everything for the power plant without giving thought whether dollar shortage will take place or not. But it happened now. And how could you understand this?
Well, future is always unknown. Whatever plans you make, like we make business plans, we have profitable plans, but end of the day, out of 10 people, at least 2 people fail. But they have done all the plans. Why? Because the future is always uncertain. No one predicted that Ukraine-Russia war will happen. No one predicted that this war will be so damaging to the world that the entire world will have shipping crisis, will have food crisis. This was not imaginable. And the same thing that's happening today. I would say the biggest effect on the economy is the war. Our buyers in USA and Europe don't have the capacity to buy enough. So our garments is also suffering. The shipping route and the shipping container system was controlled by 1 or 2 companies. And because there was a lopsided growth in the whole world, the shipping cost went up to 7 times. Who would think about it? So, and then the crisis of food made food prices go 3-4 times. And because of all this, the energy went up 3 to 5 times. But touch wood, thanks to Allah, things are coming down. The oil prices are almost pre-COVID level. The food prices have come down internationally. And even energy prices have also come down. shipping costs have come down. So what my personal feeling is that the budget is aiming at the benefits of the world reduction in costs. And inshallah in 3-4 months, 5 months, we will see those effects coming into our economy. And that is the reason, one of the prime reason why the government feels that the 9+% of inflation will come down to 6+.
It is also true that inflation is coming down everywhere in the world at this very moment, but in Bangladesh it is going up. How can you correlate these two things?
Well, it's very simple. When prices come down, you have to have enough money to buy more. And here money means not taka, means dollar, hard currency. This is the reason why I had requested that our trade with India be done at least for $2 billion in Indian rupees. In China, we should do in Chinese money for at least $1 billion. The idea is that yes, the prices have come down, but could we import the lower prices goods yet or not? Could we import enough of that so that the supply, expansion of supply will bring down the price? We could not done it yet. However, this is the reason I was just trying to tell you that the budget envisages that we will soon be able to import enough of those low priced products at the current world price and then bring it to Bangladesh, which will dampen the prices here and the prices will come down. This effect will be hopefully 5 to 6 months down the line we can hope that we should be able to get a much lower price than we are now.
In that case, you need a very strong supervision over the market. And how can this can be ensured that regulatory commissions or regulatory organizations, they are not so serious at the very moment and people are suffering a lot and people has given everything, whatever they have, and sufferings of the people at this very moment knows no bound. Then how can you satisfy the people?
Well, first of all, the business and industrialists have to sacrifice for the nation now. I mean, you see, the nation is in crisis. The population of the country, the hard-earned independence of the country, all these things now should come into front now. It's a challenge to save the country from destruction. And now the motive should not be profit anymore. It should be save yourself, save the company. So the profitability needs to be reined in by the business people themselves. It has been seen that however strong the government is, however regular they put rules and regulations, they find ways and means to avoid it. I'll give you a simple example. When a price of say sugar is fixed at 50 taka, whereas the business people want to sell it at 150 taka, and the government says no, only 50 taka, you will not find any sugar in the market, but you will find it unofficially. This is our problem. So I had requested the government when I was in the federation as president that at least 10 essential items should have a MRP, maximum retail price, and there should be a social movement that don't buy above MRP. If you buy, you are also a culprit. And I have seen that with the supply is there and the rules are such that they cannot store it for long, it's bound to the price will come down.
Well, looking at the budget, there are so many think tanks in Bangladesh, especially in the field of economy, CPD, PRI, SANOM and other organizations. Most of them are of the view that this budget is very much over-ambitious, not possible to get implemented as expected of. And as a business leader, do you think so?
It's very simple. When former Minister Muhisa around 3 lakh, 4 lakh crore budget, everybody was laughing. Today we are declaring 7 lakh plus crore plus budget. The concept is very simple. As the country is growing, as the business and industries are growing, the budget also needs to grow. If you really look at our population and the budget amount, even 7 lakh crores is low. Now, why do we say is overambitious? It's a different story. Overambitious means that when we say we will collect 5 lakh crore taka from the market, and out of which 4 lakh 30,000 crore from the private sector or from the tax VAT, NBR, we don't see the NBR has developed themselves in such a way that they can collect this amount of money. So even though we say it, but if you look at the real story, NBR had never actually achieved the target given to them, but they have crossed the last year's target. So even this year, when we say NBR will take 4 lakh 30,000 crores, we expect that they will achieve 80-85%, which will be higher than last year. This is how the growth sector has been done. So target is around 15-20% above the actual target that the government may get from them. That is known to everybody. So when we say that they cannot achieve, we are saying about this 50-20%, that this will not be achieved. But we are not saying what they have achieved. Does any of these organizations tell you that they have achieved more than what they achieved the last year? That there is a growth in achievement? But on the same breath, I would say that yes, the tax bracket needs to be larger. There are many people in the nation who are eligible to pay tax, but they are not paying anything. So towards that, the government has introduced a 2,000 taka tax for almost everybody. That one also is now, people are arguing about that. I also feel that in election year, a 2,000 taka tax for almost everybody may not be too much appealing to the voters. So my suggestion is there are around 80 lakh TIN holders in the country, out of which around 46 to 48 lakh people give zero return, means that they have no earning. But they get a TIN certificate. So my suggestion to the government is go for these TIN who has registered a minimum tax of 2,000.
Well, we'll go for a short break and come to again.
Thank you.
Viewers, we are going for a short break and come to again very soon. Thank you. We are back to the talk show Promise Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. We are having talks with Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmad, chairman of Nitol Niloy Group. Mr. Matlub, you talked so many things on the budget. Now the turn is something else. What is your opinion about the geopolitics taking place in Bangladesh at this very moment?
Bangladesh, fortunately, is in a geographical location which is in between two large powers. One is India, one is China. We are sandwiched in between them. Now the world politics, because of USA, things are changing. Now we are seeing polarization of China, Russia, Iran on one side, and India is against China, but pro-USA. It's a very complicated situation, and Bangladesh manages to, I would say, swim between the two currents. And one time it pendulum moves towards the US side or the Bharat side, and the other side the swings toward the China side. But if you really look at Bangladesh geopolitics, we have never been able to look much towards other than India. The very fact is India had helped us during our liberation, and it was Russia which also helped us a lot. And with the China and USA which did not help us during the liberation time. So it is weighed in by our generation people. We all faced it. And that's the reason why political leaders sometimes do not want to really go to the other side of India. So virtually, I would still say that India plays a major role in supplying our goods, supplying our economy with raw materials, and also helping us in times of need. I would not say the others don't do it, the others do it, but somehow Bangladesh feels happier on the Indian side. Now today, if you look at the geopolitical situation, India is now trying to face a Chinese rise, and toward that, both economic and militarily, they want to defend themselves or arm themselves with treaties whereby they can face the Chinese rise. To me, the Chinese rise cannot be stopped. It's bound to happen. And we have two options as Bangladeshis: line up with China or line up with India, or have friends both. As per our founder of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, our foreign policy is very clear: friends of all, enemies of none.
You are talking about India and China. What about the recently announced visa policy, mainly by United States of America? And what are the impacts it may have on us?
Well, as you know, I really work on economics part and the business part, but we get effects of such policies. Now, we were quite worried that the main political parties are not discussing the ensuing elections and they are not in talking terms. You see, politics and elections are like fun fairs, like melas, where they should mingle with the population, tell them what they can do if they are in power, and then seek the votes. Personally, I feel Awami League has done a lot of jobs in the last 14, 15 years, much more than what we have seen the earlier 40, 45 years. I am confident that this visa policy is only a policy to make everybody aware that, look, earlier times when one party won and the other party lost, the party who lost generally escaped from the country. They don't want to do that. They want to say, this is your country, you stay in your country. Why do you need to go out of your country? And I am also very hopeful that there will be a nice, peaceful election organized by our Honorable Prime Minister, and that in the election, the one who has done work for the nation will ultimately win. So I don't see much change in the people's movement to USA. I don't see any change there, but we are bound to see a change in the mindset of the politicians, that they will start realizing that we are all Bangladeshis, number one, and we are all working for the nation, for the people of Bangladesh. Let us talk to each other. Let us try to find a way of having a nice, peaceful, enjoyable election in this year.
Recently, you have seen in the newspaper, and it is on record because our State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Shahrial, he also quoted the same things. The few US congressmen wrote a letter to Joseph Biden, US President, also requesting him to ban on Bangladesh army or not to take any more army for Bangladesh. As a citizen of Bangladesh, a patriotic citizen of Bangladesh, how would you view these things?
Well, in every society there are people who has different ways of thinking. Now, USA does not take any Bangladeshi people. It's taken by United Nations. And UN does it because of the world. We are peacekeepers of the world. We are not serving USA. And therefore, the question of asking Biden to do all these actions, I think it's a wrong thinking. Biden may be influencing the UN, but it cannot do it officially. And I also feel that they will never get such Bangladeshi peacekeepers in the world. With this amount of money they gave us, the amount of training that we give, the trained people to go there, and the amount of sacrifices the Bangladeshi people do, it's hardly in any kind of the world will do it. And therefore, the world needs Bangladeshi peacekeepers. And therefore, I don't think it will have any effect whatsoever.
And do you think it as, which you say, at this very moment we have the visa policy. At the same time, few congressmen requesting US President. And taking all this together, there is a big catastrophe everywhere. And what is the future of Bangladesh standing before this?
You see, Bangladesh had always challenges, much bigger challenges than what you're talking about. These are some political challenges coming from one or two countries, and that one maybe out of 500-600 people, 6 people having different concepts. Bangladesh has a people who are strong-minded and they want to grow. And the business community, the basic people are brave. They face any challenge whatsoever. I don't think that such things will deter the growth of Bangladesh. We could be dented a little bit because of politicians maybe getting scared of that, but I don't think so. I don't think any of our politicians need to have any fear whatsoever, because they're all Bangladeshis, they're not USA or any other country. And therefore, if they keep in mind that whatever they're working for is for the people of Bangladesh, if they keep Bangladesh in front, not personal things in front, definitely Bangladesh will keep growing as it is growing.
Do you sense any sort of pressure or geopolitical pressure on the government?
Well, you see, government faces a lot of pressures, both from within, from outside. And the job of the ministers to face those problems and steer the country towards success. In the past, the Bangladesh has managed it very well. In the past, the Awami League government has managed it very well. So I'm sure that the challenges that they are facing now will also be solved, and they will come out winning.
Well, thank you very much. We'll go for a short break again and come to you very soon. Viewers, we are going for a short break and come to you very soon. Thank you. Back to talk show Promise Bangladesh, sponsored by Crown Cement. We are having talks to Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmad, chairman of Nitol Niloy Group. Mr. Matlub, we have talked so many things. Now our attention will be on Bangladesh. You are a very seasoned industrialist and your contribution to the country is known to everybody. You are a gentleman, amicable and softly spoken. And you proved it in the talk show. You were like this. My humble asking to you, what is understanding about the ongoing politics and the political parties in Bangladesh?
Well, I would say that politics in countries like Bangladesh or developing nations are facing such a situation everywhere. The ruling party and the oppositions are not in good terms. But if you look at India, there are problems, but they're talking. They're going into meetings where they can share each other's thoughts. I feel very sad when I find that the politicians which are supposed to work for the nation, they don't talk to each other the way that they should talk to each other. They should enter into discussions, dialogues on economies of the country. Now we have shortage of dollars. They should all sit down together and find out how can the people of Bangladesh get more dollars. They should talk to the leaders in the Middle East, in the other countries, please send dollars, both together. If one party says send dollars, other party says don't send dollars, then there is a confusion in the mind of the people. So I am seeing that because of this, the general public is suffering. Because if there is harmony in running the country, if there is harmony in serving the people of the nation, whether you are in the ruling or in the opposition, the nation will honor you. Today I am sorry to say that the oppositions don't appreciate the positive things that are done by the ruling party. Now, anyone will have good deeds and bad deeds. Even we as human beings have gunas and swabs. We cannot be only swab. So the thing is, the opposition party should be more, I would say, adequately pointing out the shortfalls of the ruling government. They should not turn down everything and anything. So my suggestion is, or my feelings is that the political parties now should forget the past, forgive each other, and start a new chapter for Bangladesh. They should unite together for Bangladesh, and they should form a system whereby the change of government can happen within ourselves, without any support from any country, without any advice from any country. We should be able to manage our own country. You must understand this country had a lot of sacrifice at its birth. We have to honor those sacrifices. We have to keep the country as a prime objective of all our work, including politics.
In that case, opposition at this very moment, political parties, they are emphasizing all these things. They are a big crisis because the party in power is not allowing any democratic norms and standard in case of them. And in that case, whenever you say that everybody should talk of the nation from the patriotic point of view, then what are the messages from you to the opposition?
Same. See, when they were in power, unfortunately they were doing the same thing. So it's a tit for tat case. And therefore a time has to come when both of them will say, let's forget the past and start new. It's like Saudi Arabia, Iran. So that time has come now. It is for their realization. They have to realize it. For the sake of Bangladesh, for the sake of Bangladesh people, let us forget the past and start a new chapter. Definitely they'll find a way.
And what is your message to the party in power?
I would always say that confrontational politics is never good for the growth of the nation. So I feel that a system or a dialogue or some sort of arrangements has to be done so that all the political parties feel that they are part of the nation building along with the ruling party. And because the ruling party has done so many good works, so many development has been done in the last 14 years, that I am certain that they are the ones who can show the people of Bangladesh, look who has done the most. And normally, the one who does the most gets the votes. That's democracy.
I would very humbly request you to name few persons who are at this very moment of the national crisis can play role for the sake of the nation. From your point of view, because you know everybody, because you are in such a position which can never be exaggerated.
Well, I would stress like this. All the political leaders, whether it's opposition or with the ruling, they should be able to name these persons who are willing to take this role. I feel that the time has come for everybody to talk to each other, because this way the nation will suffer. You can see that we have enough power production units, but we don't have money to buy the oil or gas. Similarly, things will happen. We may have orders from abroad, but we may not have money to buy the raw materials for the garments. So these sort of anomalies will keep on increasing if the parties don't give a peaceful life to the nation. I believe that the nation is facing the biggest challenge since our liberation. It is a much bigger challenge than any time that we have faced in the country. In my lifetime, I have never faced such an economic challenge than what we are facing now. So for this sake, we all have received this Bangladesh from Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. We now, it is our I would say, responsibility to work for the nation, especially during this challenging time. So let us forget our own egos. Let us forget our, say, long-term enmity with somebody. Let's join together say, for the sake of the nation, for the sake of the people of Bangladesh, let us forget the past and start a new chapter. That chapter will bring smile to Bangladesh people.
It is well understood that the visa policy declared by US at this very moment, the people of Bangladesh are very much siding with them, with the policy because of lack of democracy in Bangladesh. It is said. And do you think so that this visa policy is getting tremendous support from the people in general because of lack of democracy in Bangladesh?
Well, if you look at the visa policies closely, it's for those people who want to go to USA. We have 17, 18 crores of people. How many go to USA? Find her. Not even 0.01%. So it does not affect the, say, 99.9% of the people. So that visa policy has got no linkage to actually going to USA. The visa policy is just telling the people of Bangladesh that, look, if the politicians don't behave correctly, if you work against the nation and if you want to come away and fly away to USA, you will not be able to fly. Nothing else. It has got, the general public has got nothing to do with. But what the general public feels, that maybe this will make the politicians realize their mistakes and come to terms and then provide Bangladesh a peaceful life for the nation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matlub Ahmad. You talked on so many things and it is already passed to the audience. And up to them to decide what is wrong, what is right, and what more can be told, everything. So thank you very much. We'll meet you again in future.
Thank you. Thanks SATV and Crown Cement for such a wonderful event. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, thank you very much. We will come to again very soon in future. Well, viewers, we are having talks with Mr. Abdul Matlub Ahmad, and he is the chairman of one of the biggest business and industrial house in Bangladesh, Nitol Niloy Group. And we talked to him on so many things, ranging from national to international issues, business to commerce, trade and politics also, and geopolitics. And he very lucid manner, he tried to reply in such a manner so that nobody is in a position to bracket him. And that is the greatest achievement of Mr. Matlub, that whenever he talks, whenever he behaves in such a way, he is what he is. And what he said, you heard it, we passed it, it is up to you to judge and decide. And our duty and responsibility is to pass to you his opinion and expression. And thank you very much again. Meet you very soon.